welcome in. Today, on our Halloween show, we have a few treats we hope you enjoy. They, of course, include teacher talents and the theme of the day, as well as news of the blood and food drives. We will even answer the question of whether or not you can return to a popular Chinese restaurant. And finally, on a special Ricky Reports, I will look into whether or not Harriton is haunted. Along the way, I will answer the questions of whether or not Harriton is the site of a slave burial ground, as well as why they didn't use the old girls' locker room. That's all right now. Live from the Harriton High School television studio in Rosemont, Pennsylvania, this is the Ram Report.
Hello, I'm Ben Feldman.
Along with Hannah Richter.
For today's Ram Report, our top story today is a special Halloween edition of Ricky Reports.
Here's Ricky, who claims that this is not his show, with another 5-minute segment. Is Harriton haunted?
Hello. On this Ricky Report, I will look into whether or not Harriton is haunted, and more importantly, why. To help answer this question, I turn to Harriton's haunt expert, Mr. Edwards. All the stories he shared with us regard the old Harriton.
Well, I'm a little bit of a investigator. I typically go into these places where I think there might be ghosts. And I'll stand in the middle of a place and I'll go, I'm going to count to 3. If anybody wants their picture taken, now's the time. I was just kind of hanging around taking pictures because I'd been theater producer for 7 years. And this, for example, is a slide of the very last show, the last production of the Harriton Theater Company. There's this distinct shape here and another distinct shape here. Just think it looks like someone sitting on the edge of the stage.
When Mr. Edwards rotated a picture he took from backstage, he saw this.
Look at this. Look at how the light bends. And on top of that, it's a face. The eyes are where they're supposed to be, the mouth is where it's supposed to be, and I just thought, wow, this is the last production of the Harriton Theater Company. How appropriate. One of the old people showed up.
When Mr. Edwards first got to Harriton, a fellow teacher told him something very interesting.
He was aware of a map that was on in storage at the Lower Merion Historical Society. That on it had the old the neighborhood around here, and one of the legends in the area here, the hillside, where Harriton High School is now, was this legend written, Slave's Graveyard.
So, does a slave graveyard really exist on the Harriton property? I came here to the Lower Merion Historical Society to find out. Sadly, I just found out that they're closed for the day, so I decided I would try my luck by going on the Lower Merion Historical Society's vast archives online. Now, I didn't find that map, but what I did find is an article about how the Harriton Plantation's field slaves were buried on the rise behind the Harriton House. Funny thing is, Harriton High is on that rise. Built in 1704, the Harriton House's most famous resident was the Secretary of the Continental Congress, Charles Thompson. But it was Richard Harrison, a Quaker, who owned slaves. I talked to Bruce Gill, the curator of the Harriton House, to clarify exactly where that graveyard was.
People used to see it in the 1870s, but we don't know where it is today. Well, it's certainly on the property. Harriton High School is built in the peach orchard of the original estate, but we think it's sort of at the corner where Old Gulf Road and Hythen Avenue are.
It wasn't only Mr. Edwards who saw these haunts. It was his students.
She said, I do see that thing. She also said that the old girls' locker room in the gymnasium was very troubled, and that the reason that students weren't using it anymore and no one would talk about it was because of the feelings that they had of being looked at, and that people were disturbing them when they would go in. So nobody goes in there anymore, and in fact, that's a fact. They didn't use the girls' gym locker around the time the place closed.
Now, my sister Allie, who graduated Harriton in 2007, actually confirmed that that is true. So why was the original Harriton Gymnasium haunted? Well, it turns out that two people died in the construction of the original Harriton Gymnasium. Mr. Perrone gave me this article from 1957. According to the article, 2 men were crushed to death by fallen girders when the roof collapsed during construction. One started to run but didn't make it. His body was found crushed beneath a girder. The other man fell with the structure and was killed instantly when he was hit on the head by one of the heavy pieces. So is Harriton really haunted? I'll let you decide. Reporting from someplace outside of Harriton High School, for HHS TV, I am Ricky Reports. Stay informed, Harriton.
Ricky wanted us to mention that Mr. Edwards hasn't heard any stories about the new Harriton, so maybe you'll be the one to discover Harriton's next haunt. The full Ricky report on the haunting of Harriton will be available this week on the Harriton banner at hhsbanner.com.
Knowing Ricky, it will be 20 minutes long. Already online is Ricky's full 40-minute interview with Mr. Edwards. You can find that at youtube.com/RickyReports. And now, here's a clip promoting the NHS food drive.
Friday night's football game had a great turnout. The Rams played hard, and we all showed our school spirit. Some of the top players were Drew Levin, Patrick Stewart, and Will Thomas. Younger members of the Rams also proved that the team has hope for years to come.
Tonight, both Harriton girls and boys soccer will be playing home playoff games. Girls play at 5, boys play at 7. We are told that if boys win, they will be playing Thursday night at home, meaning Quidditch will be postponed. Come out and support the teams.
This show's theme of the day will be Trick or Treat Tuesday. Let's take a look.
Favorite Halloween candy? Butterfinger, all the way.
My favorite Halloween candy is Twix.
Reese's Pieces all the way. Yep.
Skittles. My favorite Halloween candy is a Kit Kat.
My favorite candy is Twix bars.
Well, I can say my favorite trick-or-treat candy would be Twix, because it got that nice crunch and caramel flavor, you know, a little salty and sweet.
Kit Kat.
Candy? I have no idea about the kinds that here in America. In Egypt, I love the sweet. The name is Mandarin.
My favorite Halloween candy is Snickers. My favorite Halloween candy is Kit Kats. My favorite Halloween candy is Twix.
My favorite Halloween candy is Sour Patch.
Alright, I'm basic. My favorite Halloween candy is Hershey.
My favorite Halloween candy is the Juji fruit.
Yes. My favorite Halloween candy is Reese's.
Kit Kats. My favorite Halloween candy is a Snickers.
Well, you may not have noticed, but there is something new about Harriton Stadium this year.
That's right. Over the summer, a new track was installed at Harriton Stadium. The new track is pretty much the same as the old one, which was replaced because it was worn out. The replacement cost just over $200,000 to install.
There is a blood drive starting November 7th. Here's Eric Chudd with more about it.
Come to the blood drive on November 7th from 9 to 2 in the cafeteria. If you are interested in donating, it would be helpful for people in need of blood. This is a very important event.
Okay.
This Friday, October 30th, the Manayunk Bridge will open to pedestrians and bike riders for the first time since the bridge opened. It will be accessible via the Kinwood Trail from now on.
Did you know Dr. Havlick can juggle? Well, you do now. Here's this week's teacher talent clip.
Okay, my name's Dr. Havlick, and I'm going to do a little juggling. That's my talent for this show.
Hey teachers, got a talent? Contact Mr. Lehman to be featured on the next Teacher Talents.
Yang Ming, the Chinese restaurant, reopened on October 21st for the first time since August 18th, when live cockroaches were found in people's food not once but twice. The restaurant has been extensively cleaned on the inside and out after the Radnor Health Department shut them down. Go enjoy your Chinese food.
In school news, 10 students, including the TV studio's own Hannah Richter, finally received their laptop chargers last week, after the tech department ran out of chargers in the original laptop distribution. Apparently, it is Apple's fault that the chargers delivery was so delayed.
And that'll be it for the second show. Signing off, this is Hannah Richter.
And Ben Feldman.
Thanks for watching the Ram Report and have a great upcoming Halloween.